everyone. This is Samir here from PSR, and I'm here with my cousin and teammate
Emir. Hello.
Yeah, and we're actually driving down at before 7:30 in the morning to Lewiston, Idaho, to pick up my car from paint. You guys may remember a video from, what, over 2 months ago now, talking about my plans for paint and how I was supposed to drop off the car. Well, if you've been following us on Instagram or even watching our YouTube community tab feed, you probably know that there's been a number of delays. I'm not going to get too far into detail into it all because obviously that would take 20 minutes, so at least. So let's just go over the basic points. But first of all, as you guys know, I had a major delay at the very beginning in October because I was missing a side skirt and I wanted a nice new one. And I had to wait 3 weeks for shipping. So it was, that was the first major delay. But I was talking to my painter the entire time. But bottom line, it took 3 weeks to even get the car down there. After I had all the parts, it took 3 weeks to drop off the car for paint. Which is irritating because if it's out of his possession, he can't do work. And I'm just spinning my wheels here, doing nothing. So that's just the beginning of a long road of poor communication with this guy. It was seriously flawed. And I'll just give you a few examples as we go through. But basically, and Amir here was with me when we dropped off the car. It was November 5th. Yes. It was a Monday. And I remember it was a Monday because I had just gotten out of class. We dropped off the car kind of late-ish, like 8:30 p.m. And he said, okay, great, I should have it to you by Friday, as in the 9th, as in 4 days from now. I was like, wow, I was not in any way expecting that type of expediency. So obviously that was great news. By the way, we're having hot, steamy sex, as you can see in this car. That's why it's so foggy. That's the only reason. It has nothing to do with this car's very poor heating and circulation system. Nothing. By the way, I'm driving my wife's Mazda 2. So probably the least exciting car you could be driving right now. Honestly, I love it. It's a fun little car. Anyway, back on... that was disgusting.
That was pretty gross, yeah.
It was gross, actually. Pretty wet. But,
yeah, they're getting wet.
They're getting wet. Anyway.
Oh, God, pollution.
Half a mile. Use any lane to take the US 12 West ramp to Lewiston. Walla Walla.
Oh, no.
Walla Walla.
Now they know where we are. But he said, worst case scenario, I'm going to get it by Thanksgiving. Which I could live with. It wasn't ideal, but I could live with that. I mean, I basically didn't want it any later than Thanksgiving. Well, I still wanted it if I didn't have it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, the Friday comes along, I text him, I say, hey, is it ready to go? Can I come pick it up? No response. And then comes Monday, still no response. And I text him, I say, hey, if you need more time, tell me. But, keep me in the loop here. And then he tells me, like, oh yeah, I'm actually going to need until this Friday.
Take the second right onto Downriver Road.
And it's like, okay, that's fine. And I was still okay with it at this point because I thought it was pretty ludicrous anyway that he was going to get it done in 4 days. He was going to have to stay up late every night. It was just a stretch, so
Continue
it was okay.
For 4 miles.
Thank God. Then we'll have a break from this fucking GPS. So then, basically, I'm going to give you a quick synopsis of what happened from there. And just to give you a quick summary at the beginning here, it's today's number 69 that I've been without my car. So we went from 4 days to 69 days. We're over 2 months. And it was just a miserable experience, communicating with this guy. When I did get to talk to him or meet with him, it was fine. Because he's a nice guy, he's a reasonable guy. He obviously wants to do a good job. He does a good job. I've seen his product before. I've seen, the product of his work. And I was impressed. That's why I went with him. But the communication for me is key. Especially if you're going to give me 17 separate deadlines. Hard deadlines, at least half of which included terms like, oh, I promise it'll be done, of course it'll be done, there's no doubt it'll be done, etc. So it's not like these are just soft deadlines. They're like, oh, it might get done this day. No, he's telling me it will be done, and then it's not done. So Thanksgiving comes and goes. Eventually we get to the point where he tells me, oh, there's no way it won't be done by Christmas. We get to a few days before Christmas. I'm supposed to leave town, and I'm all ready to go. He tells me I should be ready for pickup that night, and then he calls me a few hours later, telling me some really bad news. Apparently, the clear coat was still pretty soft, and it was printing. you know, when you put your handprint or finger, I mean, when you put your hand or finger on it, it would leave a print behind. So it was still kind of soft and it wasn't curing properly. And it had been a few days at this point under infrared and in a heated building. So his theory is that the clear coat was faulty. And he ultimately made the decision to strip the entire car. So he basically took it down to below base coat. I don't know if he took it down to bare metal, but he basically stripped it all down and started over again. So this was a problem because I had to leave town. But obviously I had my wife's car. And then he told me for sure it would be done by New Year's Day. And I was coming back the 2nd of January, so that was perfect. I come back, it's still not done. Long story short, 3 deadlines later, here we are, what is it, January 12th?
Yep.
And we're going to pick it up. Now, of course, just because we're going to pick it up doesn't mean we're gonna pick it up. There still could be problems, there could still be mistakes. But basically, yeah, that's my mini rant. Yeah, so we're gonna hopefully pick up the car. We're obviously gonna show you guys how the car looks. It's painted the same color, so it might not look too exciting on camera. It might not look too different from most angles, but I'm hoping to impress. So, yeah, guys, come along with us. Sorry about the rant. It needed to happen. Where the hell is this place, dude? Check it out.
Blue door.
Do you see a blue door?
Yeah,
This is his girlfriend's car, so at least we know we're in the right place. That's all it'd be.
All right, so Samir, you want to tell us what just happened in there?
All right, well, I'm pretty impressed with the overall quality so far. But I don't know. First of all, I must say I just didn't feel all that comfortable in there. I don't know. You know, he was supposed to be the only one there, which it didn't throw me off that there were other people there. Like,
Yeah.
Oh crap! Like, what do I do now? But the other 2 people didn't say a word to us. They would look at us. They'd be watching.
Yeah.
They were watching us watch the car, but weren't saying anything. It was incredibly strange. So
I agree with you. I gotta say it was pretty uncomfortable in there. There was a certain tenseness, and I don't know why.
maybe you wouldn't have to strain your neck so much if you didn't have this strap on.
No, we need to keep the
Need to
strap
have
on. Have to.
So yeah, it just it almost felt like they didn't want us there, or they didn't want us there for very long. It's like, hey, we don't want you looking too like heavily into what's going on here. We want you out of here so we can get back to work.
Yeah, they had like a
Like, not because they were necessarily hiding something in my mind.
No, they had an illegal operation going on in the back.
Obviously, when you expect to go see like your car that you haven't seen in months, and you're like expecting this big reveal. I expected to walk in and have it be like under a tarp, and then like
Internal temperature high, allow it to cool. No, it's weird having the camera face me now.
Nice.
How do I look? All right. But it was an interesting visit. I totally felt what you said about them looking at us, and it wasn't exactly a comforting glare.
No,
The way
it
they were
wasn't.
looking, and then there was like his girlfriend standing there with coffees. She probably was like, oh, I just want to enjoy this coffee with my boyfriend, but there's these guys here. But that's not the vibe because we're customers. He's doing his job. It's not your place to make us feel uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. If anything, nobody should be uncomfortable.
Nobody should be uncomfortable. It should be perfect.
There's no reason for any of that interaction to be
No.
uncomfortable.
And we might be making too much of this, but have you guys
We are, but
yeah, obviously.
we need to talk
But-
about it.
Alright guys, well, we got the car back, as you've already seen it. We're gonna go back to my painter's place, and we're gonna look through my old parts, see if there's anything I want to salvage. I highly doubt it. Most of it was junk anyway. The old bumper, old fenders, all that was shit. I'm gonna look through, make sure there's no hardware I'm missing. I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna go through my checklist, make sure everything's all set, and then we'll figure out the price from there, and let you guys in on that. Alright, we'll just go from the very top. Alright, so normal.
What fell out?
No, it didn't fall out, it's back there, so he has to get the lock to come out.
Oh,
Alright.
interesting.
Didn't fill those. Alright everyone, here we are a full week later. It is the following Saturday, the 19th. of January still, of course, and as you probably saw by my captions, we weren't able to record in the shop itself. We were specifically told not to, so, you know, couldn't show you our first reaction to the car. And although you did see some of it right there at the end, I believe, we were kind of in a rush to, you know, just get through looking at the car, making sure that everything was all set before we took it with us, you know, assessing any issues that may have come up. And by the time we were done with that, we were definitely ready to go back home. You know, we were in for a 45-minute drive, and the last thing we wanted to do was record for another little while at that time. So it's been a busy week, but we're back to it, and I'm going to show you basically exactly how the car was when we picked it up before we get to doing any work to it, which we'll start in the next video. So let's get to it. So here it is, everyone. We're just going to take a quick little walk around it just to show you all the sides before I get into all the details. Yeah, I gotta say, you know, first and foremost, you know, I know I did a lot of ranting at the beginning of this video, but I am truly satisfied with the paint job itself. It was great. The quality is just phenomenal, and I can't complain about that. I won't say that, you know, this took away all of my previous annoyances, but I will say that it was definitely worth the wait. With the quality of a job that was done, there is no doubt in my mind that I would have definitely done this again, even if I knew it was going to take over 2 months. And that's, you know, I have no problem saying that. So let's just get into the little details right now, shall we? So as you guys can tell, the car is not itself quote-unquote done, because a car project is basically never done, but obviously it's missing some pieces, it's missing some parts that I purchased, so let's just you know, get that out of the way right now. I still got headlights I need to put in, the grille needs to go on, the lip, the Mugen wing, and the side skirts all still need to go on at the minimum. You know, there's still other stuff that I'd like to do. I've got parts sitting around. By the way, sorry if the camera is shaking a little bit. It's kind of cold outside, so I'm stuttering a bit, shaking a bit, but, you know, that's what to expect at this time of year. Anyway, so let's see. So as you guys know, the whole front end was replaced. The fenders, the hood, the bumper, they're all new. Without the grille there, it looks like there's no teeth, but let's try to ignore that for the time being. So yes, whole new front end. Everything's fitting perfectly. I mean, like, you know, the gaps aren't oversized. They're properly sized. As you can see, you know, everything's fitting real nicely. It's perfect. So I'm really happy with that. The front end is actually being held on by zip ties right now because, as you guys may remember, when I initially dropped off the car, the bumper was already screwed up, so I was holding it together with zip ties anyway. So the brand new one I didn't have any hardware for at the time of picking it up. And then as you can tell, probably, I replaced the windshield. Anyway, getting on to the sides. As you can tell, the side moldings, which used to be black and plastic, are paint matched. The door handles, which were also black before, have also been paint matched. And they look phenomenal. As you can tell, the mirrors are also replaced. These are my Acura EL mirrors from Canada, actually. For those who don't know, these actually resemble the Type R mirrors from Japan. They look just like them. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's some US mirrors that look just like this. I think some Integras came with them. So they're not rare mirrors, but they look much more modern, and obviously they fold, which is great. The main difference between these and the Type R mirrors is that the Type R mirrors have power folding, so you can flip them, so you can fold them with a switch. These are manual folding, but honestly, the difference between having $300 and having the option to power fold, it's kind of a no-brainer in my eyes. But anyway, that's that on the side. The grill, I actually don't have it with me right now. It's at home, same thing with the wing, but everything's been paint matched. The grill, aside from the mesh in the middle, has been paint matched. The side skirts have been paint matched, so once they go on, you'll see it's very uniform. Going to the back, as you can see, the holes which were in the trunk, there was like 2 there, I can't remember, 1 or 2 there, and another 2 there. Those have been completely filled, and they were filled properly. They were welded shut, not bondoed shut, so I'm very happy with that. The license plate tray, this is actually a very noticeable difference. This used to be black, and and now it's all paint matched, and the back looks much more uniform, and it looks very clean. I absolutely adore how the back looks. Once the wing is on, I'm sure it'll look just that much better. But yeah, I'm very impressed. You know, I do need some cleaning, but I mean, that's just minor details. And of course, you know, I'll install all the parts, you know, as soon as possible. I'm not really concerned. And actually, 2 more things to take note of. Actually, I'll go over on this side. The windshield wiper arms have been painted. They've been painted black. They were chipping kind of badly before, and it was just about time, so had that happen. And also, I didn't ask for this, but he went ahead and did it for me. He painted my, I believe that's the B pillar. I'm gonna look like an idiot if I'm wrong on that. But yeah, the B pillars have been painted black as well, so they look much more glossy. Obviously, you know, they didn't have any sort of paint or anything like that on them for the 24 years this car has been around. So they were fading pretty badly, getting sun damage. So now they just look great. As you can see, I don't have window visor tint, and I actually don't intend on getting any, well, aside from this crappy little tint that comes from the manufacturer, but I'm actually going to be getting a banner that goes on the outside that'll go across, so it would be sort of redundant to have both that on the outside and the tint underneath, so I'm going to go without that. What else was there to point out? My mirror glass is cracked over here. My painter actually dropped the mirror, so it's you know, only the glass itself is bad, so no worries there. But that's okay. I've got new glass in the mail right now, so that'll be taken care of. But anyway, guys, that's where we're at. I'm really excited. I'm honestly sort of speechless. The car already looks way different. It's probably in the best state it's ever been in, even though it's incomplete, even though it's the bumper's being hung on by zip ties, even though there's no grille or side skirts. It's probably in its best shape yet in terms of overall quality. So I'm really happy with it. I am unbelievably satisfied with the final product. Like I said, I know I did a lot of complaining at the beginning of this video, but let me tell you, I wouldn't have changed a thing. I definitely would have went with my guy, Derek. His name's Derek Wright. If you go on Instagram, you look at any of my most recent photos of the car, I've tagged him in all of them. It's at Derek Wright. That's his Instagram name. And just hit him up if you're in the northern Idaho area. See, again, the cold is affecting my speech. But he does a great job. He is a professional. You know, like I said, I don't take anything back about what I said about the communication issues. But one thing I didn't say before is he wasn't purposely being a poor communicator. It wasn't his intention to be like, oh, you know what would really get under Samir's skin is if I waited a few extra days to message him back. No, he wanted the car out of his possession as badly as I wanted it back in my possession, believe me. So he had no ill will towards me. There is no ill will still. We still have a relationship. I definitely plan on having more work done from him in the future. But anyway, today it's about 1 o'clock on the 19th, as I said. And I'm actually going to see Emir here in about an hour, and we're going to get to work on the car. We're going to install the grille and the side skirts right off the bat, and as well as do some other minor work if we can, if time permits, if daylight permits, if the weather permits. For God's sake, it could rain or snow at any time, honestly. But for now, this is exactly how the car is. And as you... But anyway, this is the almost finished product. Please let me know what you guys think. You should be seeing this video sometime very soon. And then, of course, not long after this, hopefully you'll be seeing the video in which we are doing some work to the car and actually getting things buttoned up properly, installing hardware on the bumper, and making sure everything just fits real nice. So, anyway, this has been Samir from PSR, and I will see you guys in the next video.